What's up, guys? Our Wrestling Podcast back at you with another episode. This is Dave Vicious, along with Jess, the Total Package, Craig, the British Bulldog, bringing you our perspective on the world of professional wrestling. No inside sources, no ties to the industry, just stories from the diehards, sharing opinions with you. Today's topic, the year of 1988, Randy Macho Man Savage. For audio fans, give us a listen on Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, and Google Podcast, or watch our videos on YouTube at Our Wrestling Channel. On social media, can you give us a follow on Instagram or Twitter at O.W.P 2019, or on Facebook that lays off 11,000 workers at Our Wrestling Podcast. What's up, guys?
Yeah, Jess, I would love to hear the theory behind this year and your thinking behind Savage. We know Savage is having a bit of renaissance. TV, merch, T-shirts, you see them everywhere. Why 1988, buddy?
First of all, Macho Man should have a resurgence every year because
Yes.
I think it's a crime that WWE doesn't even talk about him anymore. I think it's bullshit. They put him in this their Hall of Fame, and they still don't really do anything. And I know he's not with us anymore, unfortunately. But at the same time, you can't talk about Macho Man all the time. You can't, tell your commentators, oh, by the way, what a great Intercontinental Championship. It reminds us of the reign of Macho Man Randy Savage. Why can't they do a little more to remind us of the Macho Man Randy Savage? Because it's a god darn crime that they don't talk about him anymore. Yep. It really is. It's bullshit that they don't even talk about him.
Yeah. Because you know what? Because this was the moment that he got his respect. I always had issues with how WCW treated him, how much of a second-class citizen he was during that run, and he was always so far behind, like 10 steps behind Hogan, but everything he did. Yeah. But he just never got even close to this kind of year and that power, after this or in his run in WCW. He even jumped off that rickety Halloween Havoc cage and almost broke all his kneecaps, and no one mattered. It didn't care.
I was down to 88 or 92. And people might say, why would you choose 92? I'll be like, well, that was a full year that he wasn't really plagued with Hogan at that point. Because Hogan left at WrestleMania in 92, and Savage won the title from Flair that night. And it was just Savage by himself throughout the summer and all that stuff. And he feuded with the Warrior and Flair. But in 88, for the first part of the year, right? Not even for the first part, for the middle quarter, he was by himself. But this was the thing that made him. You can say Hogan sabotaged him or not. I may not disagree with you at this point in time and what we know. But at the same time, Hogan was a big part of the reason why Macho Man became in the spotlight that he did. Hogan trusted him, and Macho Man showed his worth.
Yeah, and I wasn't saying Hogan made Savage this year and allowed him to share the spotlight with him and make that turn and be 1988. I was just referring to the back half of he was not even close to the top echelon later on in WCW with his frilly stuff, and he still had the same skill set.
You felt he had more.
He never had the same potential and opportunity.
No, you bashed him, and you meant to bash him. So
I did.
Let's just get that out.
I did.
Whoa. That's out of control. Savage had won the King of the Ring tournament later that year. In 1987, just before the 88 year.
So a two-time winner.
Yeah, there you go.
Wait, what?
What? Huh?
No, he only won the tournament once, but he did win the crown from Duggan.
So King Savage wasn't a tourney at King.
No,
okay.
this was before the King of the Ring tournament was a pay-per-view. It was a house show.
Thank you. Good job, buddy. Good clarification.
God damn it.
Good clarification. And just for clarity, I do like saying tournament.
Tournament.
Yeah. Savage's popularity was rising to the point that he was being cheered by a majority of the fans, despite being a heel. So he becomes less hostile towards the fans and Miss Elizabeth. The stuff he would do to Miss Elizabeth with the, grab her by the chin and all that, and point at her.
That was awesome.
It was awesome. I don't
not
know
awesome, but the perfect misogynistic, you stay here
and getting massive heel heat. And people really took to it. So when the Honky Tonk Man declared himself the greatest intercontinental heavyweight champion of all time, which is true, by the way, I don't care what anybody says, he still holds the record. So hey, greatest ever. Savage had begun a feud with him to get the title back, becoming a fan favorite in the process. During an IC title match in late '87, Honky and the Hart Foundation would triple team Savage Miss Elizabeth ran back to the locker room and brought Hulk Hogan out to the ring to save Savage, leading to the formation of the Mega Powers.
The reason why I backtracked, I know we're focusing on
you got to set the
1988.
stage, bro.
Yeah, I like to
set the
backtrack
stage.
a little bit in 87 to what set the stage or whatever. And the Mega Powers were definitely set here, and they planted the seeds
Oof.
even in late 87 to the Alliance, because I think they knew that Hogan was going to go away sooner than later to film this movie, his first movie, No Holds Barred. So they were getting ready to get the title off him. Hogan was still champion at the end of 87, but it was going to change very soon at the beginning of 88, and Savage played a big part in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I just want to say, is there anything better than that handshake, that Mega Powers holding back handshake? It's the most brilliant kind of
bring it up,
tiny, small like thing. Like, it was fucking perfect.
It's what everybody remembers now. Everybody remembers.
I feel Gorilla I think it was Gorilla calling it perfect too.
But it's so simple, and it's like it's in the realm of like the too sweet and like the high five and whatever you've got, but like the holding back, I can't shake hand, can't stop the fort. It's so funny. Like, to this day, I'll still do it, for God's sake.
Yeah.
The handshake between you and me that will unite us as one being. The handshake of the madness and the mania together will formally be felt and around the world. We will make the world stand still, because this is the first public shaking of the Mega Powers, brother.
Whoa!
That's awesome. His feud, Macho Man's with Honky, continued to late 1988, where their last high-profile matchup aired as the undercard to Andre the Giant versus Hulk Hogan on the February 5th, 1988 main event. Savage defeated Honky by countout after he shoved Honky away from Elizabeth and into the ring post. Why could he not win this IC title back? We all know. We got
kind of, but it was more of a. I believe that putting him in Honky was white hot as a heel, first of all. And if you didn't live through it, you didn't know how fucking brutal Honky was. He was great as a heel. He was awesome. But I think the main thing here, putting Honky and Savage as like the opening thing, it did put a good spotlight on the IC title and kind of show you that it's still the secondary title and we value it. But it really showed, I think Vince wanted to see what Macho Man and Elizabeth, the dynamic, putting them on, by the way, to this day, the most watched wrestling program in American television history. It will never be broken. He put Macho Man and Elizabeth on there for a reason, to tell the whole fucking world that didn't normally watch wrestling, you should watch these two as well.
Macho Man caught Honky coming down. Oh, into the post. Goodness.
And the count continues. And I think the Macho Man has won the matchup.
No!
Macho Man gets the victory!
Macho Man may have gotten the victory, but that's a count-out, McMahon. The title does not change hands on a count-out outside the ring.
And highlighted Honky as well because he's a heel, and it was awesome. But at the same time, like, this was a big fucking deal for Macho Man to be chosen. I'm sure Hogan helped a lot with that at the time. I'm sure Hogan knew he was going to get something from it. But at the same time, for Macho and Elizabeth to get this exposure was a big ass deal. And this started out Macho Man's 1988 as we get into the actual year that we're going to focus on here.
Yeah, good stuff. Their feud, Honky and Machos, was blown off on the March 5th Boston Garden house show, weeks before WrestleMania 4. At WrestleMania 4, Macho Man Randy Savage participated in the 14-man tournament for the vacant WWF World Heavyweight Championship. During that tournament, held at the Boardwalk Hall in Atlantic City. WrestleMania 4 was not comfortable. It was not smooth. But it does start Savage's run, which, by the way, I guess we'll talk about
Boardwalk Hall was an iconic stadium.
The way Macho wins the title and has to get help for the title, you could argue like this is a bad way to start, but Macho.
No, I won't. I will argue.
Well, let's read it first, I guess. But Savage defeated the Natural Butch Reed, Greg the Hammer Valentine, and One Man Gang on his way to the finals. In the final, he defeated the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, who had his bodyguard Virgil and Andre the Giant in his corner, but he actually pinned DiBiase with the help of Hogan. So
it was all just to blow the feud off. Like they intertwined. They brought Macho Man into it. Before WrestleMania, they had a Saturday Night's Main Event where Macho took on DiBiase, and then DiBiase really started fucking with him. Elizabeth, from the honky thing that you saw months before, would start pulling Hogan down to the ring, even against DiBiase. Now, Hogan had a major feud with DiBiase and Andre going on at the time, and after the fallout of February 5 main event, it made sense to have Hogan do it. I know that people want to look back and shit on Hogan and be like, of course, Macho Man could. But the way they stacked the deck against Macho Man, he wasn't going to beat Andre and DiBiase. And Elizabeth ran back and pulled Hogan back. And it just gave, as Bruce says, it sprinkled the Hogan dust on Macho Man, which is what you needed because they knew Hulk was going to go away for 3 to 4 months. So, like, I
to
can't
your point,
say
the fact that he was gone
Macho
for a
Man.
while probably
doesn't hurt Macho Man.
The fact that they were going to put the title on someone different after 4 years of being with Hogan was a big deal.
Right.
And however you need to get there, Macho Man's like, whatever you guys want to fucking do, I get the belt, right? And yes, you do. Yes. Like, so it's fine. People who look back on that, stop it. It was good storytelling. And by the way,
that's
the
true.
year later, it led to one of the biggest wrestling angles in history of the Mega Powers exploding. So it was all done for a reason. The Mega Powers exploding was almost a 2-year deal.
over a 2-year storyline.
Yeah, so fuck everybody who wants to go back. There's plenty of other reasons to shit on Hogan. You don't have to die on this hill. Trust me.
Absolutely. I think without Hogan, you wouldn't have had the rise of Macho here. Like you just had to have it. Like
I think for me though, I'm just shitting on WrestleMania. I think they has to win it there.
It was bad, dude. If we've learned nothing from WrestleMania, you don't have tournaments are always awesome on paper and are always terrible in execution.
There's no way,
because psychology and storylines and the way stuff works. That's why Battle Bowl doesn't work. That's why
to kind of counter Dave's point. I'm not saying Dave is dying on this hill. I'm just saying to counter Dave's point of maybe the ending was ruined by Hogan interfering and Macho not doing it on his own. You only remember WrestleMania 4 because Macho Man won the title. So thank goodness that overshadowed the absolute shittiness that was WrestleMania 4. Because it was not a good WrestleMania.
That's
but
a good
the fact
point.
that we all look back and go, oh, WrestleMania 4 was great because Macho.
Oh, look out, here comes the Hulkster. Oh, he clobbered $1 million man. Down he went, the referee did not see it.
That's terrible, Monsoon. I can't believe Hogan would stoop to that level.
DiBiase is out cold. Savage looking around, doesn't know. Now he's going to the outside.
I cannot believe Hogan would stoop to that. Oh!
A flying elbow. Hooks the leg. It's over. We have a new champion. It's bedlam here. It's pandemonium.
A tainted victory, though, Monsoon.
And undisputed World Wrestling Federation Heavyweight Champion, Randy Macho Man Savage.
Best Mania ever.
Longest. Fucking longest.
Longest.
It was the longest.
Well,
not until later.
VHS set. Yeah.
The last 10 years beg to differ with you.
Yeah. That's true. That's true.
Right.
That's why now it's 2
But at the
days.
time, no, you're right.
2 days.
At the time, WrestleMania 4 was 4 hours, legit.
Oh my God! Could you imagine now if VHS tapes were
remember
still
we
around?
got the videotape, and when you opened it up, Hogan popped up out of it. He's like, "This is long." Like when he came out, his voice said that.
You would have to have 3
Get
VHS
ready
tapes
for some
now.
bullshit, brother.
For the last 3 fucking 5 WrestleManias, we would have to have 3 VHS tapes.
Yeah,
if we were
Jake and Rude go 20 minutes for no reason, brother. Like his voice.
Thank goodness terabyte drives have gotten smaller and smaller. Savage would defend his title around the country against One Man Gang, Big Boss Man, and Andre the Giant.
I read that. By the way, I read that as "Oh my God" because Jess in his notes put OMG, and so he defended against "Oh my God."
Yeah,
against
the
OMG.
Usher song, the Usher and Will.i.am song. Is what
it's just how I read
the phrase "Oh my God."
Oh my God.
Yeah. So Gang and Andre were also aired on different episodes of Saturday Night's Main Event. So when you look at those, see, this is where they did make a mistake.
And this is without Hogan, by the way. So I put that in there.
Some good people, you know.
Yeah, I put that in there because I wanted it. Hogan was gone at this point, and he defended the title against DiBiase. He defended the title against Andre. on Saturday Night's Main Event, and One Man Gang, which was the first Saturday Night's Main Event that he did. So they did have a 3 or 4 month period with Savage as the defending world champion, and I thought that Hogan wasn't
this
there.
is where you get selective memory. And all I remember about this title run, because you don't remember Hogan leaving that much. I didn't. Maybe Jess, you probably felt it more, but I felt his entire title run was the Mega Powers, where he almost never defended it, and it's just not true. It's just selective
all over
memory.
the place. Yeah,
he defended it everywhere, and he is worthy of his championship reign by far.
No,
and we all know Macho Man's great, but
the narrative on
Savage.
The narrative on Savage in that run, and Bruce Pritchard talked about it in his podcast too, was they knew business was going to be down without Hogan because they had never been Hoganless before. So this is the first time ever. So they carefully selected, because Elizabeth garnered a lot of attention, and Savage finally,
that was really helpful.
like,
allowing
he should
Elizabeth
be thanking
her
equal.
every day. You know, like
and Savage allowing Elizabeth character-wise to be an equal was a big deal. And so they were like, if anything is going to help us kind of get over the Hogan hump, it's going to be this. And Bruce was like, and this is a good comment, even though it sounds bad, like a backhanded compliment, it wasn't nearly as down with Savage as they thought it would be. Yeah. So his reign was surprising in a lot of different ways and helped again build towards when the Mega Powers exploded. It was even bigger because Savage was that great.
Really, they expected a downturn. They never really had one here. It didn't happen.
Yeah, Savage held the audience, held for the majority. The houses weren't down that much, and it was great. And so I think that that's what made Savage's first run a major success. One of the reasons why I wanted to cover it this year.
Yeah, yeah. It surprises a lot of people when you go back and look at it, because there's revisionist history on it. But then you go, oh, he did keep the buy rate up. Oh, he did continue to sell the gates. They didn't really lose money, and Hogan wasn't there for a big amount of time, and he actually defended it against really legitimate opponents, people that Hogan would get fed to easily, and did actually get fed to a few of them. And he took care of business, even though, like, just on a side note, wrestling Andre is not fun. And it all depends on his mood.
Yeah, it is.
Night. It really is. He's like, I step on your head today, boss. Like, all right, fuck, here we go. Like,
it's like having a night off. Everyone, Big John Studd said wrestling Andre was like having a night off.
That's not true.
And Andre didn't like Savage, from what, again, Hogan's a liar and a well-known liar. And Hogan said that he loved Elizabeth and didn't like the way Randy treated her real life and backstage. And again, I think that's Hogan just spinning his own narrative. So I don't know if Andre liked Savage or not, but a lot of people. But the famous baby oil story was Savage would put baby oil on himself, and they went in for a match, and then Andre got pissed.
Baby oil.
Yeah, so Savage came in, and Savage was, if you go back and look at his promos and stuff, he always had baby oil on to make himself look, more cut and stuff, and look good in the lights. Well, I guess he walked in one time when he was facing Andre, and Andre just across the room is like, no baby oil, and started yelling at Savage and take it. And Savage had to wipe himself down and take the baby oil off because Andre didn't want baby oil because it was too slippery to work with.
That's awesome.
Which is fucking great.
I laughed because what was Andre gonna do? Was he gonna give him a suplex? I don't think so. Like, what the fuck are you worried about? Like,
have to bear hug you. What, he can't bear hug someone?
I have to pull hair with your arms. I have to
bear hug you for 10 minutes.
But
yeah,
this is, sorry, I know this is a tangent. Don't you understand like how grouchy Andre was if you had to live as 7 foot, 500 pounds, and like you're just tired and everything hurts and your back is wrecked and you have to take shits on hotel beds and everyone's staring at you. Like I would scream at everyone too and throw wine bottles at Hogan, boss, piss break, and all the stories of Andre. no baby oil.
They're great stories. They're great stories.
God bless him. All he wanted to do was just play cards and be quiet and like have no one look at him. Like, poor guy.
I just see he's like, let's play cards, and then the camera comes like, get out of here!
No, camera oil.
So tonight I was thinking that we would baby.
Look, I want to start over. Hogan's not here. Let's you and I work on our relationship. Get the fuck out! Okay.
Hey, work with Steamboat. I'm mapped out. All 30 minutes, frame by frame.
Mapping out. No, everything Savage did. No.
Oh man,
call it in the rig, boss.
Gosh.
Okay, all right.
The Andre stories are legendary.
All right, Andre.
All right, whatever you want.
Macho Man Savage ready to take on both Andre the Giant and Bobby the Brain Heenan.
If he was smart, he'd leave right now.
And still World Wrestling Federation Heavyweight Champion
the Mega Powers' first feud was against the Mega Bucks, Ted DiBiase and Andre the Giant, whom they defeated in the main event of the first ever SummerSlam pay-per-view. That was in '88. Gosh.
Was that the short skirt? Oh God, that was
Yes,
that
Dave's
was
gonna read that. Yeah, it's
Elizabeth
a
short skirt.
The
God,
match
how like
refereed by-
how like innocent was society in the 80s that this was a big deal. Nowadays, you can, if you want to get adult sites, you can get it for free, by the way.
Yeah.
Just by pulling up your web browser. Back
What?
here, it's like what
Like,
Dave's
the
described
Quagmire,
Elizabeth
what do
did.
you
People
mean?
were like, "Oh
It's on the
my
internet? What?
god!"
What
Like
are
it
you
was,
talking about?
and people got angry that of course, like the television censors were like, "Oh, that's what she wore a full butted bikini." Oh, not on my watch. Like it was just kind of
Bloomers?
fucking.
What?
How far have we fallen or come? I don't know. Either way,
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to comment. The match, refereed by Jesse the Body Ventura,
That's for
was
your old
famous for
man.
Miss Elizabeth jumping up to the apron in a ring late in the match and removing her skirt to show those
you're not going to
red
show your buttocks on my watch.
bloomers
Wham!
or panties. And by the way, this is the most it would ever go. Macho Man would never allow anything more than this, and this probably took some serious talking into for her to do this and Macho to be okay with it. In my
Seriously,
mind, like,
I want to be a
he always
fly on
wanted to
that
protect
wall.
her. He
Oh my
wasn't,
god!
he
Yeah.
wasn't trying to. I don't think he was trying to
When
control
Vincent
her.
Hogan came up with the idea, because they did, I'm just gonna say they did, because why
Of course
not?
they did.
And
Yeah.
like they're like the Paul Muchman, yeah, what'd you guys call me in here? Why are the lights out? Yeah, what's going on? And he's like, we want to talk to you about SummerSlam. Oh, that's fine. We're gonna tag. I get it. Yeah, okay. So and then Elizabeth, how you guys are gonna? We are gonna go over. Well, that's great news. I don't know why the fucking lights are out still, but what's going on, brother? And then Hogan comes in, like the lights dimming, and then he comes in. He's like, we're gonna have Elizabeth show her butt, and he's like,
Don't
this is not fucking part of the deal.
Randy,
Like,
Randy, don't get mad. Randy. I
why
already
are you
got fitted.
already here,
No,
Elizabeth, and the
it's
lights are out?
fine.
What
No,
the
it
fuck is
covers-
going
no,
on? Like, it's
Randy.
horrible.
Please.
I just imagine if it's going. This is going to be
You
very.
can't
tasty.
see anything, Randy.
Yeah. And it wasn't. It was a simple bikini bottom. It wasn't. It wasn't
Full
a
butted.
G-string or anything. It wasn't
Full butted,
Yeah,
yeah.
everything was covered.
It was no Sable. We weren't Sunny and Sable yet.
Oh my. That's that. You can't even show
Not
that
even
stuff
close.
now. That's out of control.
Yeah.
Randy.
So this allowed both Savage and Hogan, who'd been knocked out to the outside, to get back into the ring and get the pin on DiBiase, with Savage pushing a reluctant Ventura to that 3 count. I remember that he held it and then Macho came down on it, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Bombs away, perhaps.
Come on, Macho.
Oh, the packet line over.
Get up. And the
And the leg drop.
Get down there and count, Ventura.
Jesse, right there. 1, 2. Oh, he didn't want to count the 3. He hesitated. But it's over. Oh, let's get the official word.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of this contest, the Mega Powers, undisputed world champions, Randy Macho Man Savage and Hulk Hogan.
Yes.
The Mega Powers then began feuding with the Twin Towers, the Big Boss Man and Akeem, who was formerly One Man Game. We talk about that a lot.
Well, that name's still popular today, huh?
No, it is not at all.
What a name.
So that was, but I'm telling you that the Twin Towers, I mean, talk about a formidable tag team. I mean, I guess there's that. I don't need the belts, but those guys should have had titles. That was, man, that was fun to watch. And Big Boss Man was at his biggest there for sure.
Yeah.
In the case of the latter feud, Savage frequently became involved in Hogan's matches involving one of the two villains and vice versa. The two rival factions captioned the opposing teams in the main event of 1998 Survivor Series, which was won by the Mega Powers.
Savage. Hulk plants him. Bombs away. Defender flying over.
Nobody gets up from that.
Stick the fork in the rooster. He's done. And this place has gone crazy.
Towards the end of the year, Savage would also get into a feud with Bad News Brown and would see the two face each other in the house show loop with the Street Fight rules. And you can't see this. Maybe just look at a picture up for us, but it's a picture of Savage in his purple robe coming down with the winged eagle. It's beautiful. It looks perfect on him, man. It's an amazing belt with an amazing wrestler at an amazing time. Something that you'll never be able to duplicate this and the storyline that went on for 2, maybe 3 years. When you really boil it down
Yeah,
to, and he stuck
and
to
this
it.
year was completely like important for his career. Like, we can talk about other years and definitely pull out bright spots for sure. But
Yeah.
just for him to finally get up there and be world champion, and he did have that 3 or 4 month view without Hogan was so important to Savage's career. And you can say, oh,
Better
it's
than
bullshit.
anybody thought it would be, right, Jess?
Yeah,
As
it
far
was
as
better
money,
than anybody
as far as
thought it would
money.
be, and I think that's a win. And I think that people who, again, there's plenty of reasons why you can not like Hogan and not take what he says seriously or whatever, and you would be correct. But I
He
believe that
passed the
this
torch
time
here.
period was done correctly. Hogan
Yeah,
had
he
been on
did it
top
right.
for 4 years. To take him off the top was fucking scary for Vince. And so when Hogan's like, I want to go make a movie, and Vince is like, all right, well, I mean, I can't really stop you. Like, it was an agreement that he and Vince had that it could be okay. I think Vince kind of half produced the movie as well, Noel's Bard. So
Yeah.
like Vince is
Yeah.
like, okay, like, yeah, I want to try to shop you out there, and I want to, if you can make more money for me and the company and be even bigger than you are, let's go. But who are we going to have? And the fact that there was a lot of rumblings, a lot of people don't know this, of Bigelow being the champion at WrestleMania 4. Bigelow was really fucking over at the end of 87. If you go back and
And
watch
he's
Survivor
good.
Series
He's
87,
good.
the pop for Bigelow was bigger than Hogan's at times. And so Bigelow was just super on fire, pun intended, because he had flames everywhere. But I guess he did a house show loop with Andre, and Andre hated him. And so I
No
guess like that,
flames.
and then
No
Bigelow got
tattoos,
injured, and I
Craig. No
heard this is
tattoos.
rumors say that like his attitude wasn't the best in the back. So Vince determined like he's not
Bigelow's?
mature enough. Like, yeah, that he's not Vince determined like he's not mature enough. And so
Well,
Savage was also the second
we
choice.
all
where
we all know
so
Bigelow
you got to
followed Monday.
figure
That
by
was
the end of 87, they knew Hogan was going to go. And so they were trying for like 4 or 5 months. They had to prep for Mania 4, and Bigelow at a time was considered to be world champion because of how over he was. And I guess, just the backstage stuff. And Vince loved the dynamic of Elizabeth and Savage, and the fact that you could make the Mega Powers thing.
sure.
Obviously that won out, but a lot of people don't know that Bigelow for at least a second was over enough where people were like,
if
dude,
Bigelow,
this guy.
if Bigelow was over like that today, they would have strapped it to him. Like it's
Easily.
a different world now.
Easily. Yeah.
It would have been so much easier to do. So
we're coming off
wild.
one of the greatest world championship reigns ever in Hogan's first run.
And it almost didn't happen.
And you put it on
one.
Savage. Like, this was such an important year for Savage.
I just laugh.
How
What
it was.
if Hogan didn't make a crappy movie? What if
what if he
did
left?
get the
Yeah.
shot?
Bye, brother.
What if he didn't leave? Like, I don't know where Macho would have been. I mean, and it all it's funny how things fall into place. And it's that luck, hard work, meeting opportunity. Randy worked his ass off.
He
right?
did. He really did.
With the gimmick, especially. I mean, the ring work is superb up there, but
He was special anyway, and Macho
all around, man.
His Intercontinental Championship reign gets overshadowed by Honky's because Honky's was just a couple of months longer, but Macho Man held the IC title for over a year as well. And Macho had an amazing Intercontinental Championship run as a heel, and that's when he first started kind of seeing Elizabeth and the dynamic between the two. And we cover a lot of the stuff on the Legacy of Miss Elizabeth, which we did in the archives, and Legacy of Macho Man. Their relationship was special, so there was a lot more substance there. It was the right choice. It was the best choice besides Hogan they could make. And Hogan was getting tired.
Cream of the crop speech by Macho. Put it in there somewhere, Jess. I'm telling you, it's everything that Macho was about, and kind of explains 88 and probably the whole career. That's how it's always rising to the top, rising to the occasion.
Did anyone take more bumps at this time at a top level at the height than Macho? Like, look at the guys that he fought in 1988 from One Man Gang to Andre.
Dates, I'll tell you that.
That's Macho just taking bumps every 15 seconds and getting destroyed in the elevation. He never went down a gear.
Character was always selling. When Macho was a face, he was always selling. Like, he was always falling on the ground.
Well, in Jess and Craig, go back to the people he was wrestling. Boss Man, Akeem.
Yeah.
Big guys.
These are big dudes that are gonna wreck you for like 20 minutes, and then you're gonna make your comeback.
Well, that's another great point.
Hogan was getting back rakes because he was 300 pounds.
That's another great point.
I made that point. I just made that point for David. I'm the genius.
Yeah,
I'm the one that said that.
I'm totally doubling down on what you're saying, Craig. I agree with you completely. You're right.
So
He was taking all those bumps.
well, also
You're
you got
right.
to think that the table that was set for Macho Man to take over was the land of the giants that they created to feed Hogan over the last
Yeah.
4 years. So Macho had to step in there, and all the current villains were ones that were already trying to get at Hogan for the couple
And they're
years
all
prior.
400
You
pounds.
had One Man Gang, you had Boss Man, you had Andre, you had all these big motherfuckers that like Macho Man had to look equal to in there with, like, and that's hard to do.
Yeah.
Again, best choice. It's this year it gets more and more amazing as we talk about it for Macho Man because it meant so much. I don't think people now, we're 2022, they forget how big Hogan was and what a big year he had. Everybody remembers Stone Cold now because that's more the nostalgia year,
Sure.
according to how old wrestling fans are now. But Hogan was like the first big deal, and when you literally make an entire company around him for 4+ years, and then someone comes right in, you have to plug someone in fast. It could have failed in a second and nobody would have believed it. But Macho Man was so good, and the dynamic with Elizabeth, we can't discount her, was so strong
It's a
that
big
like
part
it
of it.
carried it all the way. And then again, progressed into one of the greatest feuds in wrestling history, in WWF history for
Oh,
sure.
man. WrestleMania 5 will always be down as one of the greatest WrestleManias, but definitely one of the best WrestleMania storylines of all time. It's probably the best
Yes.
storyline of all time.
Best.
Yeah, the storyline to this day, I think, is probably one of the best angles ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Fantastic. Um, yeah. For audio fans, give us a listen on Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, and Google Podcast, or watch our videos on YouTube at Our Wrestling Channel. On social media, can you give us a follow on Instagram or Twitter at
Do what
OWP2019
you
if
want.
Twitter's still
Take the
around
trash
next
out
week,
instead.
or on
Idiot.
Facebook, Layoff Meta at Our Wrestling Podcast. For Craig and Jess, this is Dave with the O.W.P signing off. Have a good one.
No baby oil.